Hey, welcome back, guys. Before I get into today's episode, I want to do a really big, giant thank you to each and every one of you that supports the channel, to all the 17 subscribers that I've actually reached now. I want to say a big thank you to all of you as well. And it's great to see some of your comments on the channel and on the videos, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. On today's episode, we're going to embark on a journey that rewrites the rules of love and destiny. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, where art thou? Me and Juliet. So Me and Juliet is a musical with music by Richard Rodgers and lyrics and book by Oscar Hammerstein II. Now, Rodgers had long wanted to write a musical comedy about the cast and crew backstage at a theater. After proposing the idea to Hammerstein, he basically thought the subject matter trivial, but agreed to do the project. The musical required complex machinery so that the audience could actually view the action not only on the stage of the theater where the show within the show takes place, but also in the wings and on the light bridge, which is just another way of saying the area high above the stage from which the lighting technicians train spotlights. Now, as the two discussed the backstage idea, Hammerstein became more enthusiastic, suggesting that the show start with the stage entirely bare, as if the audience had come in not for a performance, but at another time during the day. Rodgers suggested dispensing the overture, basically removing the overture altogether, and instead inserting it for the overture of the show within the show. So in August of 1952, Hammerstein began a sketch of the plot. By early October, he had a near-complete first draft. As the show was to be a musical comedy, the pair hired one of the top musical comedy directors of the time, George Abbott, who accepted the position without even reading the script. After regretting the decision to not read the script, based in part by the script being pretty much melodramatic and sentimental, Hammerstein allowed him to make whatever necessary changes to the script, which he thought best. Now, Hammerstein wanted to make this clear. We were religious in keeping away from the trite things. The kindly old stage door man named Pop, the pretty little understudy who replaces the star on opening night. We steered clear, too, of backstage story of a company putting on a new show with all the anxieties of the actors and producers. It seemed right to focus on a show which is already running because we wanted to tell a story about a community, the backstage community, and this community becomes settled and established after a show opens. Now, the cast consisted mostly of unknowns, though Isabel Bigley, who had just originated Sarah's sister Brown, in Guys and Dolls, was given the leading role of chorus girl Jeannie. For Larry, the assistant stage manager who falls in love with Jeannie, they cast Bill Hayes, a well-known stage and television actor. Chorus auditions began in March of 1953, with Rodgers, Hammerstein, and Abbott listening to more than 1,000 people. When rehearsals began at the Majestic Theater for principals and the Alvin Theater for dancers, technical problems with staging had to be addressed. Basically, a number of key scenes required the audience to both see the play within the play and at the same time observe the realism of the stage manager's operations in the wings. To achieve this result and to make both elements simultaneous, the major part of the production had to hang on specially constructed overhead steel tracks. These synchronized electric motors slowly moved the stage pictures off into the wings, far enough to expose the stage manager's desk and actors and stagehands off stage awaiting their cues. Now, after RCA Records put up the $350,000 proposed cost of the production in exchange for a 50% interest and rights to the original cast recording, the show was pretty much ready for tryouts. However, the tryouts at the Hannah Theater in Cleveland revealed a number of problems. During the first act alone, Hammerstein dictated 8 pages of notes. That's basically anything that needed changed or reworked. And the sandbag, which falls from the light bridge near the end of Act 1, actually dropped off cue, nearly striking an actress. The rehearsal was stopped pretty much often as Rogers sought to work out each problem as it arose, and the rehearsal, which began at 8 p.m., lasted until 2 a.m. Despite the problems the show faced, the crowd gave the show a rousing welcome, although what had seemed to be a show needing minor adjustments became a musical in serious trouble. Hammerstein had intended to omit the overture with the audience to watch after the curtain rose, a blank stage on which the play within the play, performers and crew drifted in and began their preparations. Now, expecting the orchestra to begin the evening, the audience talked throughout the initial scenes before being quieted by the internal show's overture. In response, the duo abandoned Hammerstein's concept and opened with an overture. Still, the audience continued to greet the show with a warm response. So was the team pretty much onto something here? The musical would open on Broadway in May of 1953 at the Majestic Theater. Large advance sales guaranteed a considerable run, and by the start of November, it had paid back its advance. Closing after only 358 performances, the show paid a small profit back to RCA. And despite a $500,000 advance ticket sale, despite a 10-month run, and despite an eventual profit in excess of only $100,000, Me and Juliet was classed as a Broadway failure. The backstage drama portrayed in the musical was matched by actual difficulties among the cast. For one, the wife of choreographer Bob Fosse, who played a part in the show, became pregnant during the run. Then, unfortunately, after losing the baby to a miscarriage, ended up losing her husband to Gwen Verdon. Hayes noted that the 15 months he played Larry, he did not recall ever having a conversation with Isabel Bigley, who was supposedly his love interest and wife, stating, "I doubt that the audience ever believed that we were deeply in love." With the show receiving no Tony Award nominations, Hammerstein followed his usual practice of visiting the theater now and then to ensure that the performers were not taking liberties with his script. Like sands through the hourglass, they played nearly 500 performances, however, all to full houses. Production costs were paid off, and substantial profits went into the Rodgers and Hammerstein till. Though no national tour was ever attempted, the show had its European premiere at the 50-seat Finborough Theatre in 2010. Now, Me and Juliet reminds us that love can come in unexpected places, and that sometimes the greatest adventure lies in stepping outside of our comfort zones and embracing the unknown. The show's message of hope, resilience, and self-love resonates with audiences of all ages, reminding us all that we have the power to create our own happy endings. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this, please comment on what you liked or disliked. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to see other videos like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, that's a wrap.